Welcome to another edition of the Radio Coffee House Show, where Jesus meets coffee meets talk radio. And the next one starts right now. How's it going, everybody? Clint Armitage with the Radio Coffee House. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening in. So the last show that we had was part one of a two-part series, and it's called Marriage and Ranting. And so my buddy Abel was in the, we're on the road, doing a road show, but my buddy Abel was recording with me, and he was ranting about social media and how it affects traditional values, traditional marriage. He was also ranting a little bit about women in marriage and how he believes it should be. And so there was some controversial issues, and we've got some more of that right now. So let's listen in to see what else he has to say and see what else I have to bring to the table as well.
Ladies out there, and I went through this. I like going opening day of the Del Mar track. Like I said, I'm 50 years old, so I went out with a bunch of girls. There was like 5 girls and like 4 guys, all friends. One was in a couple. But the guy that brought it up is all the girls were divorced. Now they all have fake boobs, fake lips, fake hair, fake everything. And I was, they look presentable, but they're in their 50s. So you still have your wrinkled neck. You still have your wrinkled hands. You still have all these things. But all the boys, all the guys, we're in the 50s and we looked handsome. And we didn't even try to do any Botox, any nothing. We don't have nothing on our neck. And the women that were high-valued women back in the day in their 20s, like they probably, a 21-year-old me and a 21-year-old them, they were high value, and I was nothing. I was a busboy, literally a busboy. And that was it. And now they're just hot. They didn't have a good job or nothing like that. But now, ladies, you have to remember, the tables are going to turn as you get older. You're not going to be valued no more. You're not going to be hot no more. You're not going to be wanted no more. Now, guess who's going to be wanted? The men. So treat us like luxury, because your luxury fades away with age. Ours gets better.
All the stuff that you're saying, there's a couple things here. One, a lot of surface stuff. You're talking a lot of surface stuff. And then the other thing is I'm sure you ticked off a few women in your little spiel right there.
After this, it's going to happen even more.
Because it appears as if you're putting one over the other. Men over. Sense? That's what it came across as. Because you said, okay, you had your chance when you were to be this thing.
And now you're divorced, and now you still want to be what? Because you took your husband's money, now you're a sugar mama, and now you could get a young dude. I live with young kids, good-looking kids. Those are my roommates. And guess what they're looking for? A sugar mama. You think that they're going to get the respect from this 25-year-old to the man that was married to her? No. And the person he was married to had a purpose to be with you. This person only has one purpose: to take your money and to sleep with you. That's it.
So let's look at why. Let's talk about why. Why do you think that is?
It's not thinking. These are facts.
Okay, but why do you think women do that? Or these specific women? Because it can't be all women.
No, of course not. Nothing's 100%.
Okay, so these specific women that you're bringing up,
yes.
Why is it happening? Let's look at the causes and let's see if we can figure that out, or at least talk about the reasonings behind it. Because we hear the actions. I get what you're saying. But why is that happening?
What percentage of men lose in a marriage, in a divorce?
Well, I think everybody loses, but
who loses
but
more?
You're talking about
what we said earlier.
You're talking about traditional marriage again, with the man making more money and the man providing and all that stuff.
There was a thing I saw on, it was an ex-basketball player. I don't know who it was. It doesn't matter. The point was, it was a young, hot chick, and they were going to get married within the next 6 months. And the guy goes, hey, let's hurry up and do this prenup so we could do what we got to do. Like, finish everything off because we're about to get married in 6 months. And she refused. So he broke up with her. So now there's a whole big thing. Like, it's like, oh my God, well, if love's going to last forever. Why do you need a prenup? And it's like, that's a good business deal. Because I'm worth $12 million. You worked at Starbucks. That's not the case, but you're just hot. And I want to marry you because I'm old, retired basketball player, and I have this money. Now I could attract hot young women. So why did she didn't want to sign it? Why? If it's love, what does money have to do with it?
Right. You can look at that on both sides.
Correct.
You could say, hey, I love you, so we don't need a prenup. But you can also say, I love you, so I don't care if there's a prenup.
Right.
Right? If you
Correct.
truly loved each other. So when I look at that, I go, did they really love each other? Or they
Correct.
just wanted to get
That's my
together.
point.
Right? That's the whole thing.
That's exactly.
And again, to me, that's all surface stuff. That's stuff that is just on top. And
See, that's all that is allowed in society now, in social media. What you're looking for, what you're digging for, doesn't exist anymore. Okay. There's no depth to it. There's no, whoa, where did that come from? It doesn't matter.
Right. Why? Why isn't there no depth? Why
because
is there no
social media runs
thinking?
the world.
Okay.
It runs our love life. It runs what we look like. It runs what we wear. Back then, when I was influenced by somebody wearing Jordans or whatever, it was an athlete that probably had more money than me. Be like, oh, dang, those are nice shoes. Mm-hmm. I couldn't afford them. And I would be like, I was influenced by that. I liked the look. I loved the swag. I loved everything. I'm like, I want to be with that human being that is literally going to my school. He was a drug dealer, but oh well. Like, I wanted to be not the drug dealer part, but I wanted to have his fashion. Right. And it's like, well, the only way I could do that is to be a drug dealer, sell drugs, because my mom cleans houses. You know, I was a busboy. I was, you know, I didn't have that kind of money to just throw away like that. And, you know, but that was the influencer. It wasn't a rap video, but he was probably influenced by rap videos and all this and that. Yeah. And even you and I mean, I don't know, people don't know this, but we've been rap partners for a long time. We weren't influenced by the chains. Every time we performed, we never wore gaudy clothes, and we wore what we wore. We wore our name, we wore this, we wore that. That was it. We didn't do the chains or nothing because that wasn't us. We loved watching it, but we weren't influenced by that. Right. And that's the whole thing, is like, so I'm not influenced.
Okay, so what keeps, say, if you're thinking this, and I actually agree with you, if we're thinking that these influences are affecting traditional values, traditional thinking, traditional
100%,
marriage,
100%.
if this is all affecting that, then why is it affecting it? Why are kids today being
Because the parents allow it. I'm going to tell you. The same, for example, I have an aunt that has children, same neighborhood, same everything. They've gotten everything they didn't deserve in their life. Even if they couldn't afford it, they wanted it, they got it. So, and this is my era too. But whatever they do wrong, it's the parents' fault. It's not theirs, because they let them get away with stuff. So parenting right now is soft.
Okay, I agree with that. I think that is one of the reasons why. Now, this is where, again, this is all the human nature part of it. And this is where, again, I'm going to bring in, there's the spiritual side where I think when we take out God from society, when we take out God's precepts and his instructions, and we remove things like the Bible and all the wisdom that has created our foundation, the actual traditional values come from the Bible. If we remove all that stuff, then I think we start to create this new society and new way of thinking where parents don't know how to parent because they're soft.
And how's this new society working out?
Yeah, I don't think it's working out very well at all.
Thank you.
I think we are going in that direction that is just lost.
Thank you.
And that's where we are stepping into areas.
The question you asked me was, I said, it's the parenting.
Okay.
Because now even parents want to be in social media. You know what I mean? They want to be like, oh, I'm 50. Look at me. Would you want to marry me? Like on the TikToks or whatever. I'm like, people hate TikTok because if you're religious, it creates evil. Like, oh my God, you're a woman. You just show boobs. You show butt. You this and that. And I'm like, I get that. But you could only be influenced by TikTok if you're weak-minded. I'm not influenced by TikTok, but I watch it all the time. And I say, what an idiot. What an idiot. Look at this old man doing this. Look at this old woman doing this. That's the people that are teaching our kids? This is how they're raising them? Like TikToks where the mom and the daughter look like H's. And that's how you're influencing them?
Well, now, I think that's always been around. Of course, it's more prevalent now, I believe. And it's because of the expanse of social media and the internet. You can see people in China. You can see people all over the place, right? Now, I think it's always been there because that human nature Because think about,
But I couldn't see people in China.
Right. Well, you couldn't see people. Right. So it has affected that.
Correct.
It has expanded it.
Right.
And actually probably accelerated the rate.
Correct.
I would agree with that. Now, but there's always been there. Like, remember when the kid actors, who was forcing those kid actors to get into acting I'm their manager now. It's all the parents, right? It's that same type of thinking, even though they weren't getting on camera. Right. They had that same thought, like, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to do all this stuff and I'm going to be this and that. And that's that same human nature, selfish thinking that gets in the way of us trying to, even keep society together. I mean, it looks like we're just driving each other apart. We got all this division for all different reasons, but it comes back to being so stuck on self. And I think that's a human nature thing that we have to understand and actually accept that, hey, we are, and this is where the animalistic thing comes back in. I think that's part of acting like an animal. Like, hey, there's a piece of meat there. It's either you're going to get it or I'm going to get it. Well, I'm going to go get it. Right. And I'll beat you up or I'll kill you if I need to.
The example of exactly what you're just saying. Well, I do special events at Qualcomm here in San Diego. And a lot of the times when there's a certain amount of food for a certain amount of people. So at those times, we have to serve the food because, we want to make sure we don't run out of whatever the main dish is, right? So we get in lines, and they were so selfish where, hey, can I get another piece? And I'm like, well, after everyone goes through, then yeah, you can. We'll open it up to whatever. If there's leftovers, we want everyone to get fed. There's 150 people here. There's 158 pieces, right? So just whatever. So it's like, and they look at me like, well, just give me another piece. I'm like, so it's just you in the world? That's it? What about the people in the back that, got here late because they had to close something or whatever? Now they're in line and now they have nothing. Why? Because that one person that wanted that protein doesn't get it because that guy demanded 2 pieces. Mm-hmm. I get in fights with them all the time. And I told my boss, if you tell me that it's just 1 piece per person, I'm going to stick to that plan. Just for the other people don't have a piece of protein so they could eat. But that's exactly what you're saying. It's like you're just being selfish just for yourself. Like, I don't care about them. As long as I get 2 pieces of chicken and I get full, I don't care if that person eats or not. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what you're saying.
That's what I think is the root of it all.
Right.
And now, I don't know if you know this, but the Bible actually says that...
Well, I don't know anything about the Bible.
Yeah, well, it talks about the human nature and the spiritual nature and how it battles constantly. And we have a choice to do the thing that either we feel we want to do or we do the right thing. If you were to look at it as a devil on the one shoulder and the angel on the other, right? You have, hey, I'm going to do the thing I want to do or the thing I should do. And just like you said with the whole going for another piece, well, the thing they should do is wait, get back in line 100%. And get the other piece if it's still available. Yes. But they don't want to do that. Correct. They're listening to the other side going, well, this is what I want, so I need to demand it. Right. And that's how our society is, right? It's that whole human nature where we get stuck on us, ourselves, our selfishness. And then when we start to do that, we start to cut everything out and we just think of ourselves. Well, when we have a life like that, and if everybody starts doing that, I mean, think about how we're already with the traditional values, right? We don't care. We don't care about anything but ourselves. All the traditional values that you want, that I want to see back into culture and society, it can't come back if we don't look at things in a different way.
Again, back to traditional values. Traditional values never was about you. It was about others. And that's the same thing with marriage. And it was back then, it was the man, this is my wife and my kids. I don't care about me. If I got to go pick coal in a coal mine or take trash, from, whatever, throw it away. That was nothing because I knew I got a paycheck and I got a baby and I got a wife that's waiting for me to get home, take my shoes off and this and that. We're going to eat. And not extravagant meals or whatever you can make up. We're going to talk and then watch TV and that's it.
What you're saying is exactly right. And that's 100%. It is, but you know what? That is actually a biblical concept. Jesus died for us. And that's the whole concept of giving your life to others. And just like you said, that's what the man in your story here, the man is doing for his family, right? No matter what he has to do,
he'll do it.
He's doing it because he's doing it for them.
Okay, so now why that same person that's doing everything for that family, now why does the family member, the wife, says, well, you don't spend enough time with me. You don't even see the kids. Because they're on the road making money to provide and pay for a house that you live in, other necessities that the family needs, everything. But now their fight is, well, you're never there. Because I'm trying to provide. That's why I'm never there. So you want me to be there all the time? You think we're going to have what we have? No, we're not. But you have a luxurious life. I don't. I got to go make this happen so you can. So, and then that person still wants to divorce that provider.
And that is one of the main, there's a lot of divorces or separations, all that stuff that happen because of those reasons, right? Because one of the main fights or one of the reasons for people divorcing and stuff is financial is one of the reasons, right?
100% money.
And so that does come into play. And it is a top tier type of thing where it is one of the reasons. Now, I think it's a little bit more complicated than what you just said, but I do believe stuff can be caught up within that because a man could feel like, yeah, I've got to provide because we need to have that. Yeah, and that's one of those things that men feel, right? Hey, I'm a provider.
If you're a real man. If you're not going to feel it.
Right.
If you're not a real man, you're just going to look cute. You're going to look hot. You're going to look handsome. You're going to be eye candy for the person that you're with. That to me is irrelevant. That's not being a real man. You're showing the world like, look at me. I'm a man. Look how cute I am. Look how good looking I am. Look at my kicks. Look at how I am. No, that creates no aura for me as a human being. As a man, you got to be a man. Again, just provide, be there and protect for your family. That's a man. I'm a father. I'm not her friend. So to me as being a man, as a father, I'm a protector, provide for her and do whatever she needs, but I'm not going to be her friend.
Correct. Okay, so that's another one of the problems that we run into in terms of culture and the society's thinking nowadays, right? The whole, hey, I'm your friend, I'm not your parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a big deal. But as we bring it back and I kind of close out this conversation on marriage, now, for the most part, we kind of believe the same thing in terms of traditional marriage and how things should work for the most part.
Right.
Now, the differences here that I want to highlight is the fact that I think our problem is we are, as a society, as people, as humans, we're starting to step away from God. I think we're taking God out of the whole equation that created the foundation of traditional marriage.
And take the word God for me, for my sake, as culture.
As culture. So you look at it as a culture thing. I look at it as
God.
Culture came from what God originally put into the foundation of marriage. And so in terms of just looking at it as marriage itself, we kind of agree in a sense. But you also look at it, since it's a culture thing, it's something you don't have to do if you want to be with someone. Marriage is just a certificate for you. Like a piece of paper. It's not.
No, the government has a big involvement, and I don't want the government to control my relationship.
Right, and so for me, it's a standing before God and actually uniting the man, the woman, and God into the whole relationship. So that's where the differences come in. But in terms of just marriage itself, it sounds like we agree on where marriage is going and where it looks like it's going to be headed if we don't change thinking. If we don't, and I think it's because we're removing God out of everything. But I can agree with you that traditional marriage is being affected by the internet, social media, things that are
and parents letting them do that. Parenting is the key.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of teachers that are standing up for what's right and wrong. They're just doing whatever the higher people. Oh, you need to teach this. You need to use pronouns. You need to this. You need to that. Public schools are effed. Because they have to do that, even though they don't want to, but they have to do that. And the parents they don't have say, they don't do anything, they just don't stand up for anything. Back in the day, parents would go to the school and be like, hey, who did this to my son or whatever, this and that. Like, they go to the schools. Now it's like, well, back in the day when I was a bad kid, my mom would go to the principal's office, pick me up and be like, Abel, what did you do wrong? Oh, well, he hit me. Well, what did you do wrong? They didn't say nothing to the teachers, but I did do something wrong. I was the bad kid. I did deserve, they didn't hit me, but they grabbed me or whatever and got kicked out. But that's the thing. Is like my mom didn't go over there and be like, you don't touch my child. You have no. My mom goes, what did you do? And that's the difference in parenting than it is now. Because now the parents these days go over there, oh my God, don't you dare touch my child. I'll get lawyers. I'm going to sue this whole district. Oh, come on, bro. You're not teaching your kids anything. That means your kids could get away with being a bad person. And the only thing I believe in is be a good person.
Okay.
And good parents need to be good people to show their kids what a good person is.
Right. I agree with you. I just think it comes from a different place. And so,
but if the outcome is the same, then what?
Well, there's more to it when you talk about eternal life and life after death. There's still another portion to it, and that could be another conversation. So right now we're running out of time, so we're going to wrap this up right here. I want to thank Abel for coming back and giving his input and stirring some things up, because I think we do need to stir things up to get people thinking, provoking thought, so that we can make some good changes in our lifetime here, whether it includes traditional marriage, traditional values, or just being a human in this world in general. We see where it's going, and we need to do something about it. So thanks for listening in, and make sure you come back, because I'm bringing Abel back for some more stuff that we can talk about to get things stirred up. Until next time, stay safe. God bless. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Radio Coffee House Show, where we're all about Jesus, coffee, and radio. We'll see you next time.